Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And it's time for a new movie review. Vince, what are we reviewing today?
Today we are reviewing Lucy.
Lucy.
Not somebody named Lucy, but the movie Lucy.
Oh, okay, that's good. Because we haven't, we've reviewed so many things that we might at some point have to resort to that, where we just like find people and we're like, leave a comment and tell us a person, the first name of a person you'd like us to review. Would you review Alvin? Sure, we'd be happy to.
I hate your brothers, Simon and Theodore. Something about those guys just rubbed me wrong.
So Vince, what's Lucy about?
So Lucy is essentially about a girl who is abducted and used to be a mule, unwillingly used to be a mule for drugs. And the drug leaks. It's some kind of experimental drug, and it causes her to unlock portions of her brain progressing towards 100%.
And then she ultimately develops a lot of kind of godlike powers and unlocks the great capacities of the alleged capacities of the human brain. Well, Vince, how'd you feel about Lucy?
Well, Lucy makes me feel like I'm at the circus behind the lion's den.
Your boards are always so cryptic. What does that mean?
Now, behind the lion's den being that what I'm watching is pretty exciting, and that even when there's downtime, there's still a certain amount of ferocity to it.
Oh, okay.
And,
ferocity is a great word. It's a really visceral kind of film.
This is a movie that is fast-paced and keeps going. And it never really gives you a chance to breathe. And sometimes this movie uses that to its benefit for humor. It uses it as a way of just making it not disjointed, but unsettling for the viewer, which I think helps the pacing and helps the tone.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. So I find it interesting that her intensity is used for both comedic value and for dramatic value. Now, that being said, I feel like I'm at the circus because there's not a strong through line that really keeps me going throughout this movie. Now, the thing that they do have is she makes a decision pretty early on in the movie of what to do with these new interesting powers and this kind of limited lifespan that she now has as a result of it. But the trouble that I have with that is that she just kind of decides to do this because somebody tells her to do it, and also we don't get very much information about the abductors. We don't get very much information about the drug. Really, what they're focused on is this woman now has these powers that are completely implausible, and they give you some kind of explanation for it early on based on dolphins and what their abilities are, and how they've just evolved the ability to do echolocation, and that I believe, because that's about perception, not about imposing your will upon the rest of the universe. Now, the stuff that she is capable of doing throughout that movie, I went, that's cool, but that's complete bull. Like, this is bull science, pure and simple. Like, I could not believe that somebody who is 100% has the ability to use 100% of their brain capacity could do that stuff. Now, I could believe, I like the fancifulness of, I like the idea of telekinesis. I like the idea of pyrokinesis. I like the idea of this stuff. But to try to, like I feel like what these people are doing is say, dude, if you have 100% of your mind, you'd be like a god, right? Well, sure, because you have complete control of your body, but that doesn't mean now you have superpowers.
Doesn't mean you could break the laws of physics.
And
that's precisely what I want to talk about here in a minute, but I'm not gonna.
There's stuff in this movie. I'm sorry to just go on for so long.
You're fine. It's just I'm sitting here like, okay, file it away.
There are missed opportunities in this movie.
Yeah.
One, we needed more about why she was put in this position to begin with, because it's kind of the fact that this happens is almost a non sequitur to her previous life. And
well, I don't think so. I think it's an accident.
Yeah, I'm okay with it being an accident, but we need more about why this happened, because essentially this is almost like the zombie outbreak.
But really nothing about her so much as stuff about that organization before, maybe. Yeah, but like
we learned almost nothing about her.
But I thought kind of the point about her was that she was completely just average, and there was nothing special about her, and she was kind of the epitome of the point it was kind of making early on of human beings are at the core just like primal beings that are like trying to survive, and like they keep making a big deal out of that with cutting back and forth between nature scenes of like animals chasing each other and fighting and stuff. Cool. Yeah. So I'm just saying that I think part of the point was that there's nothing interesting about her until this happens to her.
Which, I mean,
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I won't argue against that. I mean, I'm not going to say that I care for it because I kind of don't. I really want to know about her circumstance. I really want to know about her, and really what this movie is focused on is showing you the powers that they think she can develop by using her brain. That is the reason this movie exists. So please.
Okay, flip your sign.
Oh yeah. Not feeling it.
Oh yeah, you were quick to flip it there.
And that's not because I hated it. It's just because I don't find it interesting. It is exciting. It is interesting. And there are things about it that I think are worth watching. But if it's between that and Guardians, go see Guardians.
All right. Well, Vince, this movie made me feel like doing some research and actually learning something about human brain capacity.
Fair enough.
So I can totally get with a film that has completely ridiculous, preposterous science if I think that it's if it's not like contradicting it and getting weird with it all the way through. You know what I mean? I feel like there's some inconsistency with it. And I mean, like, I feel like it is unabashedly ridiculous. That is one thing I really liked about the movie, is that I don't think some reviewers called it, like, a really dumb movie about being smart, and I think that's precisely what it is. I think it knows it, though. Like, I think there's...
I don't know about that, but please continue. I don't know if it knows it.
In places, I thought so. Like there's kind of there's a seriousness about it, but I think that's its attempt at trying to keep it, like within the context of this universe, where it's not really saying that real life is this way necessarily. Although I'm with you, that's one of the awkward things about it, is that maybe it is a little bit tough to tell that.
I do feel like it's kind of like a speculative term paper.
Oh no,
it
is.
Speculative.
But the problem is, we're not speculating based on anything real.
Yeah, and that's what ruins it for me.
So it's not just that. I know now that the whole 10% of your brain capacity thing is a myth. So that's all. So this whole movie is based on a premise that like science isn't even with anymore. That's just not even a thing anymore. But again, if it's just okay, if we're consistent about it in this universe, that's what it is, and let's go with it. And we have to be simplistic about this. Like at that point, you can't call it real, honest to God, good science fiction, but at least maybe within the world we could. Here's what I didn't understand, without giving too much away. And I mean, this movie's been out a couple weeks, but Morgan Freeman's character has somehow come to this hypothesis, and you don't even want to call it a theory, because he makes a big deal out of there's no way to test it, so I can't be sure if I'm even close to right, which makes it funny when he's completely right about everything. Morgan Freeman's scientist character, the same character he's played in probably 20 different movies, has come up with this hypothesis of at certain percentages, these are the superpowers a person would have, and this is what they'd be able to do. By 20%, they could not only have complete control over their own body and over all of the involuntary functions, but they also could control you. And then, if you go farther, they could control like matter and time and space and all these things. And I got the sense that he had actually mapped it out and figured it out, but based on what?
Yeah.
And not just the 10% thing. What I didn't get is that when you get to the end of the movie, he gets his mind blown when he finds out that physics doesn't work the way that scientists thought it did. He didn't know that. His mind is blown. It's like, it's not, because she's like, and this is where the whole thing breaks down for me. It's like, she's like, once she gets most of her brain capacity, but before she transforms into an entirely other being, once she gets almost to top brain capacity, she's like, human civilization has oversimplified it. And the reason that we haven't been able to reach our full potential is because we've been overly simplistic about how the universe works. Here's the problem with that. The problem with that is that there are obviously rules of nature that we've kind of figured out, and it could be that there is some big grandiose thing that if you found out, you find out that all of the way the physics work are not the reason we thought they did, but still there are so many rules that seem to always work. Gravity tends to always work kind of the same way. When she's like, it's not built on math, I'm like, I don't understand that. It's like maybe there's something else over math, but math still seems to mostly work. I don't know what you're talking. So I guess the point I'm making with Morgan Freeman's character, and this is just one example of how completely not thinking this movie is sometimes. It's like okay, so somehow or rather you figured out that if people could reach 100% of their brain capacity, they would be super gods, like Thanos level gods. But you base that on math, and then the thing that makes that work is that physics doesn't work the way. So that just doesn't work. So my other big issue with the movie. Well, real quick, let me throw in a couple of positives, because I enjoyed it actually. Through a lot of it until the third act when it really broke down for me. I thought that, as you said, it was a well-paced movie. I thought it was a somewhat well-written movie when it comes to dialogue. Okay. It's not a bad, it's not a bad ride. But Vince, when you get to close to the end, to that third act, I felt like it got really uncreative.
That's a terrific point, because you get to the end, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But you get to the end, and you find out humanity's largely right about everything. Because that's funny to me, is that they show so much speculative science in this thing. Well, not even speculative science, just fictional science.
Making stuff up. Yeah.
Not even science fiction, fictional science. And then they essentially throughout this movie validate things, saying like the scientists we know are right, and so why do we need her to help us know anything about?
Yeah, well, and more what I'm saying when I'm talking about, you're right. More what I'm saying when I say that's uncreative is that the interesting stuff is here's what she can do now and here's what she's learning. I don't know what they're getting at with the ending. I'm not going to get into all that. I don't know what they're getting at with the ending.
I'm not going to say it on this because that would completely spoil.
We can talk about it later.
But I do have a theory that they should have tried something different.
Okay, well, me too.
But they could have done almost the exact same thing, had it and made it slightly different. It would have been a more interesting movie.
That ending is too typical. It turns into the bad guy that made her is coming after her, and it is way too contrived to keep that guy around. They have her just keep constantly not doing anything to stop him when she's got godlike powers. We've got a scene. Tell me what I'm missing here. Yeah. We've got a scene where he sends a bunch of guys after her. There's 15 guys. We're talking this big horrible overboss drug lord guy who's, by the way, incredibly two-dimensional. There's nothing to that guy.
And this is still pretty early in the movie.
And I'm talking later on. He sends 15 guys up against her. And she, telekinetically makes them all float up in midair in a hallway.
Which is in the trailer, by the way.
They're floating around, they're bumping into stuff, and then when he starts coming after her himself, and we're told specifically he's bringing 25 guys with him, when he comes up against her by himself, she's in another room in that building, she's not right up there against him, but we know that she has the power to, use electronics and see things from really far away through telephones and stuff. I don't understand. And by this point, she's almost cosmically aware. We're so far in. We're 85-90% now. Why does she let that guy keep coming? Why doesn't she just blow him up outside? And the other thing is that
she does kill people in the movie, even innocent people.
And
she has a rationale for that.
So real quick. But that was the big thing.
Oh yeah.
But that was the big thing. And I mean, again, it's not that I didn't enjoy the movie. I just don't think ultimately it works.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it again. I'm not sad I went. So I mean, this is not. Don't see this as the most red hot I've ever flipped this sign, but I don't know. At the end of the day, no. Yeah, I think
I'm saying I don't think it's a good movie. I'm not saying that you shouldn't see it.
Yeah, I would say wait for video probably, but
it's fun.
But yeah, it's fun. It wasn't a wasted afternoon. Here's the thing that I really latched onto that they didn't do anything with, or nearly enough with anyway. The idea is when she she starts becoming cosmically aware. The idea seems to be, and this is weird, but the idea seems to be that the more you just let yourself be, there's a line about that, and the more that you let yourself kind of regress to just a primal nature and you don't like worry about the accumulation of things and stuff, you actually become somehow like more advanced. And so there's this whole thing where as soon as she starts to get more of her brain capacity, she starts losing what it is that makes her human. And that was the thing that I really latched onto, that once she starts to have all of this understanding about things, everything else just becomes so small that like it's hard to care about piddly things like morality and ethics and all and caring about people. And there's this incredibly effective scene where, probably the best scene in the movie, I think, where she's talking on the phone with her mother and she's trying to explain it to her. And that's like the last remnants of her humanity that you really see, and I just don't think the movie does nearly enough with that idea. There's like one token moment later where it's like, why are you still keeping the cop guy around? Oh, I'm keeping him around to remind me of what it is to be human. But nothing is done with that, ultimately, and that's just an excuse to keep that guy around. So she's like, it's hard for her to like remember why she cared about people, and because the whole idea in the movie is that primal nature is just you try to survive. That they have that whole thing about like cells are either trying to become immortal or procreate in order to be immortal that way.
That's kind of neat.
And I liked that. And so she's playing that out on a mass scale. So she just like kills whatever's in her way. Well, when she gets to...
Which is also in the trailer.
But why does she keep the bad guy alive?
You know...
The first time she meets the bad guy after that, she gets information from him and then leaves. I don't know why she doesn't kill him.
Let's talk about the bad guy for a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been talking a good long time. Go ahead, Vince.
The bad guy doesn't make any sense. One, it's very evident at the beginning of this movie, very beginning of this movie, that they don't know what the drug is, they don't know what it does, and all they know is that they want to get people high with it. So they're going through a heck of a lot of trouble to get this drug. Now, why? That's my question, is why not just sell somebody baking soda? Like, if you're just going to sell it to druggies that don't know what they're sniffing anyway, not to say that all people who do drugs would not know what it is, but as evidenced by the people that they force this upon in this movie to test the drug at the very beginning of the movie, these people have no idea what they're putting in their faces. And they don't know what the end result is. So my question is, why make a movie that could have been so easily just switched a little bit to where it makes sense? It's not, don't make it a drug to where you're trying to mule it across the world and sell it to druggies. Make a drug that you're trying to weaponize and sell to higher buyers. So, not higher buyers, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, so, that would make more sense, and you could still have these, you could just make the guys a little more militant rather than gang-like, and it could still be organized crime, but they'd just be a little more organized. So you could have largely the same movie, and it would make more sense. It would make more sense, and it wouldn't be super interesting, because we still don't learn anything about people, really. We learn about her
to
some extent. It seemed to me
like the drug thing was just kind of the catalyst to get the ball rolling. I didn't understand why we had to keep going there. I felt like the movie was trying... I think I was thinking too hard about it. I was trying to figure out what the movie was saying about primal nature and stuff, and is it saying something with the idea that she fulfills her potential accidentally through a drug which is created by the most awful of human primal instincts? What is the movie saying with that? I just feel like there's a lot of really interesting potential ideas in there. I don't think the movie knows what it is. Idea-wise.
I think this movie had a couple of good, or the people that made this movie had a couple of good ideas, and then they tried to expound upon that, and they didn't really do it in a sensible way. And I think that's the long and short of it for me.
It's better than Transcendence. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Morgan Freeman was also in that movie playing the exact same character. but didn't get good dialogue in that movie. So
good dialogue in this one, right?
That was I thought so, but yeah, so like that was the Johnny Depp movie that did a very similar thing to this, except it did it with AI, and it's really hard not to compare this to Transcendence and Her, and of course Her is really good, but like, and was also Scarlett Johansson. But like,
and was actual science fiction as opposed to fictional science.
Yeah, and so it's just it's always unfortunate when you get a movie that's along the same veins as other things that recently came out, but like did it better, were like superior at it. Like I said, it's better than Transcendence. That movie I just didn't even enjoy at all. This I enjoyed. I just don't think it's a very good movie. But anyway, so yeah. I should say real quick too. Scarlett Johansson does a really good job.
Yeah, she does very well. And I was pretty satisfied with her performance. She does Cold really well. I just kind of wish that they would have let her be more human throughout the movie. I think you were saying something to that effect.
Or just or just at least discuss that more.
Because I feel like there needed to be a progressive loss.
I could have understood. Well, no, I like that it wasn't progressive. I'll argue with you on that. They actually had a really good reason for it not being progressive. That like if you suddenly had like this like cosmic understanding of the world, it would be like you stepped out of your own body and you were a totally different thing. I can completely understand that. But there is a little bit of I'm wishing I still was human and wanting to try to get back to that, and I wanted them to work on that story more. That's all I'm saying.
And that would have given us more about her character as opposed to her superpowers. So, there you go. Ow. Ah.
Well, anyway, everybody, thanks always for watching us review a new movie, and Sarah and I are going to be doing Ninja Turtles for you here pretty soon, so look forward to that. And in the meantime, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And we'll see you later.